Hello everybody, I'm starting a new series here where I'm going to be talking about every season or series I want to talk about that's going on this season. And I'm going to be doing it with a lot of friends, so I hope you like it. Right now I have my friend Duncan with me and it's going to be fun. And we're going to be talking about Ancient Mongoose Pride right now.
So let's get this started.
So with a first premise, there are gonna be spoilers about the series. If you want to watch this episode or this video, I highly recommend watching the series of where we are. Where we are right now is that episode 5 of Ancient Mongoose Pride has been out. So that is to let you know there are spoilers, so please don't be triggered. Number one thing you should know if you have not started the series, there is an OVA and they are amazing. There are 3 episodes of the OVA. They are all 22 minutes. So you should watch the OVA because I really love the OVAs because in my honest opinion, they felt like a Studio Ghibli movie or something like Spirited Away.
Yeah, definitely. You should definitely check out the OVAs first before watching the series. I mean, technically you don't have to, but it's just going to enrich your experience overall. You're going to get a lot more attached to the characters if you do check out the OVA first.
100%. In my opinion, you get to learn what Chisei came from. Like, you learn her dark past, you know, you learn all that, like, you know, what she's been through and all that trauma and all that type of stuff. And it's like really needed to really enrich the first episode of like, you see this girl where she's like, oh, I don't care where I go, I just want a home. And now we know that it's like, oh, it's legit true.
Yeah, because it's like in the first episode of the series, you just get introduced to this girl who randomly signs herself up for slavery, and I can see where if you haven't checked out the OVAs before that, that might seem a little bit confusing because you're just going to have a bunch of questions in your head, and that's probably going to bug you throughout the remainder of the series. It still doesn't detract from the actual quality of the 24-episode series, but if you watch the OVA beforehand, none of this is going to confuse you.
You're not going to have as many plot holes. I mean, they do explain it later on in the series. Of course,
they do. And they also, they do many different subtle tricks throughout the first episode, so at least you have an idea of why she's doing this, so you're not going to be completely confused, but everything's just going to be cleared up. You're going to already have an attachment to the character you're starting out with, and plus, the OVA, they're pretty much just like a self-contained story in themselves. You get introduced to these to a really interesting story, and also just
an interesting cast.
And if we are talking about spoilers, I can just say the OVA. I love the librarian. The OVA.
He's really cool and he's really awesome. And it does suck that, you know, like, because at first when I was watching the OVAs, I thought the librarian was like a bad dude because of how he treated Chisei. But then we learned at the end that the whole library is a trap.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, it's kind of good that it's gone. But it kind of sucks because at the beginning I was like, oh, she has a place to be. That's so nice.
He reminded me of such a tragic story. He was such a character that had been wronged by his place in life, and I really felt bad for him, especially because the OVAs in general, I've never been the biggest fan of reading, but I really actually do like libraries a lot. I like the atmosphere that they bring. Yeah. They just give off this vibe of intelligence and culture that really makes me want to read, even though I'm not the biggest fan of reading. But it's a good reason to convince yourself. And I thought the OVAs in general, they just did a good job of kind of capturing the beauty of reading and showing that Chisei, it's an added character detail that really made me care about her. She really has this passion for reading, and that comes from the librarian who also shares that passion for reading, and I really enjoyed that about the OVAs. They captured that spectacularly, the way that you would see from a Miyazaki film.
I totally agree with that. Also, I think the OVAs are not part of the manga. They are not part of the manga, I believe.
As far as I know, they aren't. I believe
they are like an original thing. They were a spin-off. So if you want to read it in the manga, there's no manga for it. But Duncan is checking my work here, as you can hear in the keyboard. But another thing is like let's talk about the episodes now. I want to talk about the episodes.
Right.
So with episode 2, it's very simple. We learn, you know, that there are other mages out there and like especially like everyone freaked out at the end because Chisei got taken away by a dragon. But then we learned in episode 3, which in my opinion episode 3 is my favorite episode because of the message it gave off. And it still applies to Chisei still, because like everyone still knows that Chisei still is like jealous of the dead because she just doesn't care about being alive anymore because of what she's been through. But with episode 3, as a recap, if anyone has forgotten what has happened, we go to this land of dragons and we meet the oldest dragon we've seen in the series so far. Yep. And we see him turn into a tree, and he gives Chisei an experience of flight through his own memories. And it was a really nice scene, but I mean, in my honest opinion, throughout when we were watching it, there was a lot of still frames. And the music was amazing within it, but there was a lot of still frames and not a lot of animation. But it was a great scene to show that Chisei should not be jealous of the dead, because then she's not going to live her life to the fullest, as what the dragon said.
Yeah, I would kind of agree on that note on the animation. There were definitely the still frames bugged me a bit, because normally when you are trying to capture the experience of flight, what I would associate with flight
is a lot of motion.
There's a lot of motion. It's not just whenever you're capturing flight. When you capture it musically, there's a lot of rapid motion throughout the music, and they didn't really do that. But at the same time, I'm also realizing I don't think that was the experience they were going for. It was more like they were trying to capture the beauty of the horizon, which is what they were going for. That's why I think there wasn't as much motion. They could have added a much motion in there to capture that experience of flight, which would have enhanced it. But at the same time, it still looked very pretty. And also, the transition from the scenes I thought were really cool, because once the scene just ends, you see Chisei just kind of disperse as if she were made of flower petals, and I thought that was really
that
creative.
Animation was really nice. I really enjoyed that animation.
Yeah, instead of just, cutting to black or something, or cutting back to the scene of where she was, they decide, no, we're gonna go the extra mile or two. We're gonna make her transition out in this way that looks natural and correlates to the atmosphere of nature that we've seen throughout the entire episode. And I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And then let's move on to like episode 4 and 5 with the cat village.
Yeah.
That was very interesting because we get to learn that cats actually do have 9 lives. So that's very interesting.
Spoiler alert.
It's not a spoiler, it's just a thing in the series. But yeah, the dude, was it Matthew? The dude Matthew. Very tragic, story.
Poor Matthew.
Yeah, poor Matthew. Is he just loved his wife and he wanted the better. But then he went insane because to a degree, there's definitely there's people who would say I defend what he did, and there's 100% people who would say I don't defend what he did. And obviously everyone else as a grouping, everyone can say sorcerers are dicks.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. That seems to be the vibe they're capturing with this series. And also, if I can just say a little on Matthew, I honestly didn't expect him to go the way he did, because when I saw that they were introducing this tragedy to the 2 characters and they were showing off the sorcerer, I didn't think that the sorcerer would turn Matthew insane. I thought it was going to go somewhere along the routes of, oh, she's just going to poison his wife, and then he's going to be really, really sad, and then he'll die from a broken heart or something like that. But no. This series is a lot more fucked up than I thought.
He died mentally. He saw his own wife turn into a puddle of goop, which is still alive, but is a puddle of goop.
She wasn't. We don't even necessarily know if she was dead.
She's not dead. She's just alive forever as a puddle of goop.
That's even worse. It's a worse fate than death.
Yeah,
and that's just terrible.
That's why she asked Chisei, kill us. Just do it already. But then in the end, she's like, I don't want to kill you because I don't want to ruin these memories.
Matthew?
And Matthew and all that stuff.
Matthew did nothing wrong.
He did a lot of things wrong.
Nah.
He hanged 10 kittens in a row.
Oh, he did more than just hang them. He butchered them.
He butchered them, chopped them, probably skinned them.
Turned them into milkshakes.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel I'm very desensitized to all this gore and violence ever since I've been reading Tokyo Ghoul now.
Yeah, let's get off of that tangent for a second. But at the end when Chise was kind of like, oh, I forgot about like the thing about with herself about being a slave beggy, where they say that they don't live long, and they said that Chise only has 3 years to live, or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously they're probably gonna fix something about that. Maybe, you know, the maid can do something about it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm wondering, I don't know if I'm actually, like, the manga readers probably know what goes on more than I do.
Yeah.
But I'm an anime only, so based on what we've seen in the opening of the series, it seems like it's just a bunch of different shots of what happens in the series.
Yes, the opening does show that. And because by the 3rd episode, I saw the connections.
Yeah, but also, the reason I brought that up is because, well, for starters, when I'm thinking that Chise is gonna die, I don't know if she is gonna die and that's just where the series ends, or if they're gonna find some way to fix that, because if they are gonna find some way to fix that, I think it might have something to do with the Phoenix, because Elias does have a Phoenix, and you know, as if any of you are unaware of what a Phoenix is for whatever reason,
is the eternal bird.
Yeah, they are born, they become these really magnificent creatures, and then they die, and then they get born again.
Yeah.
That's essential. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that, because in the opening we see like the last shot is like all of these flames in front of Elias, and then Chise just kind of appears out of them into his arms, and I'm wondering, are they going to do something with
the Phoenix?
With the Phoenix? Is the Phoenix going to help Chise recover to an extent? I don't know if that's actually, I could be completely wrong, but I could see that happening just from what the opening shots have told us so far about the series.
Who knows? I do want to talk about what I want to see in this series as well. Hopefully we do see like more magic being shown, because what we have seen, there's not much magic or sorcery going on. And hopefully we do see more.
You mean wait? Do you mean magic or sorcery? Because there's a difference in the series.
Yeah, but like I want to see both sides. Like why is sorcery so unhated? I mean, obviously we have a good reason, but
yeah, all we've seen. I don't know if we've actually. The only instance we've seen of sorcery so far was with Matthew and his wife. But even then,
and we honestly haven't seen a lot of magic either. Like the only thing we've seen is the teleportation, and then Ainsworth being a shadow.
I think we've seen a fair extent with the shadow. We saw the teleportation. We saw Chise taking that, taking that crystal, and then like expanding.
That's not really
it
magic.
That is, but that is
like
magic,
very
though.
Basic magic.
It is. It's a test of magic, but it utilizes magic because.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference so far that we know between magic and sorcery is that magic utilizes the help of the spirits, while sorcery
uses science.
Well, it's more than that, because they mentioned that sorcery, I could be wrong, but sorcery essentially rewrites the laws of reality, which to me, that sounds sort of like an art. That almost sounds like against the theme of
being God.
Well, yeah, playing God, but also against like technology, because a lot of people are saying when you create these sort of inventions, you're going against nature or you're playing against God. That's kind of what it reminds me as. When you're using sorcery, you're messing with the order of the world and you're playing God. You're rewriting things that shouldn't be there. That's what I think sorcery is. It's bad because it goes against the natural order of things, whereas magic, it utilizes the help of the spirits and the fairies and everything. That is sort of in harmony with nature. I can see that's why they probably think sorcery is bad, but I do want to see more instances that just kind of highlight that.
Yeah. What else can I say about this series? Another thing I really like to talk about is like the character design of Chise, where it's like they always show it, and I'm pretty sure everyone has known about it, but it's the bag on her eyes. It's such a small detail, but like you can tell so much out of it.
It does kind of differentiate her a lot, because I've noticed a lot of people point out that she looks very similar to other female main characters with red hair, like the main character from Akatsuki no Yona, or the main character from Snow White with red hair. They both look they look very similar, but she's got the bags under her eyes, which really kind of differentiate her just enough for me to not want to draw that comparison between the two of them.
Yeah, and then like obviously the bags under her eyes like represent when she's in a depression. Like every time you see those bags under her eyes, you can tell that she's going through.
You think those will go away over time?
A small depression. Like every so often, like at the beginning of episode 2, we see that there's no bags under her eyes. She feels like natural. She feels fine.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. So hopefully, like throughout the end of the series, we rarely see the bags under the eyes. Who knows?
I mean, from what I've seen in the opening, probably most likely, because she's like, there's one shot in the opening that shows her just looking absolutely happy, and
hopefully she does.
That is a smile that you need to protect.
Yeah. Another, what was I trying to say? Like, I want to see more mythical creatures, because they've already instances like a ton of mythical creatures, like a dragon.
That's what.
And spirits and fairies, quote unquote. You know. And I hope we do see like a lot of other mythical creatures, because like what we've seen, like what Chise's seen is like, you know, like in episode 2 we have that lizard thing that acts like a dog, and like obviously everyone finds it cute, but like what you know say of that is like what other creatures are out there. Like,
that's kind of what makes me want to draw the Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli comparison the most, actually. All of these various magical creatures.
Yes.
It really gives me kind of like a My Neighbor Totoro feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
With all the magical creatures. That's what really I thought stood out to me. And also that salamander, lizard, dog thingamabob, I absolutely love that. I want a plush for that to come out once the series ends, because it's just one of those things that I want to grab it and want to hug it like I would with any other dog.
Yeah, but you know, we still have like 19 episodes left of the series to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very unlikely for the series to go down, but with so many episodes left, there is that possibility.
There is that possibility. I don't know if the manga's over yet. I think it's still ongoing, and with that being said, this series is probably not going to cover the entire manga.
I don't think so.
But I think they got plenty of room to tell the story that they need, and I'm just really excited for it. This is my favorite show of the season. So.
Yeah, and the pacing it feels really nice. I don't know anything about the manga, but what I'm like, you know, just looking and watching the series, the pacing seems nice and a good pace.
Yeah, manga readers, let us know what you think of the series. I'm very curious what this is from a manga reader's perspective.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But I think that's all we can say. Is there anything else you want us to talk about Ancient Magus Pride?
Well, if there's one thing I gotta say, you better watch it.
Yeah,
if you are even remotely interested in anime, you are doing yourself a disservice if you're not following this series.
I think it's like everyone's favorite anime that's being aired. Also, like, I want to say is like, so I want to say this out loud. I thought Fall would suck because like I did nothing.
Me too.
Nothing grabbed my attention. And then, like, after all these series I've seen, like, I'm blown away. Like, there's so many good series.
The last thing I want to mention about Ancient Mongoose Pride is, I know a big reason that a lot of people might not like this series, like, the biggest thing I've seen is some people have said the relationship between Elias and Chisei is creepy. And I can understand that, but if I can offer a counterpoint, I've drawn like comparisons between this and the Miyazaki films, but honestly, I feel like a more fitting comparison is actually between Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And, you know, just because when you look at the story of Beauty and the Beast, it's a timeless classic, but at the same time, it's also kind of a creepy love story, because
the thing is, like, the guy, when he turns into a human form, he's the same age as her.
Well, that is true, but you have essentially this beast, this monster, taking captive this beautiful girl from the village, and that does sound creepy. In fact, many people have always said throughout, oh, this is just Stockholm Syndrome, and yeah, you're right, but that doesn't mean the series is any bad. It's still a timeless classic, and I love Beauty and the Beast, and I guess that would also explain why I really like this show, because even though they're not exactly the same, there's comparisons there. She's not being held captive, but she was bought by him as a slave, and Elias is basically a monster. I don't think he's actually human.
No,
that's one big difference there. He's not human. He's also clearly much, much older than Chisei. He's probably like, again, manga readers, I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's at least hundreds of years old.
Yeah, because in the 3rd episode where he's talking to the Dragon Mage, he's like, 300 years and you still don't blah 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 blah, and he's like, well, he's at least 300 years old, you know. It's like,
yeah, he said, did he say that the blonde guy was older than him?
Yeah.
So I have no idea how old he is.
I don't know,
but
maybe
the priest
if you're a mage, you just live longer for some reason.
Except if you're Chisei, you just get the short end of the stick then.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that if Chisei becomes a mage, maybe she can expand it a little bit more. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know.
That would be really cool. I want to see where this series goes. Either way.
There's also another thing that I just got reminded is a lot of people are talking down about the comedy aspect, whereas like they go into that chibi mode a lot of the times.
Yeah, like the tone shifts.
Yeah, like in episode 5, where it went to that chibi mode like really really quick. Like I feel a lot of people said they didn't like it. I could see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I would just want to say, to me, you're either gonna like those or you're not.
Yeah.
But I've seen also this comparison made with some really critically acclaimed shows before. Like, they even have this kind of stuff going on in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is the highest rated show on MAL. It's generally considered, one of the greatest anime series of all time, and I kind of agree with that.
I think it's just the way they ease into it and ease out of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're either gonna like it or you're not, but it doesn't bother me at all. And that's really just completely subjective, just like most comedy really is.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's everything we want to talk about Ancient Magus' Bride. There are a ton of other series we want to talk about, and there's going to be episodes about that. It just depends on how quick I can edit these videos, but I hope you guys enjoy these types of videos from me, or enjoy these types of series that I'm talking about. And if you have another series that that you want me to talk about, just put it in the comments below, and I'll see if I've watched it, and if I haven't, I'll give it a shot.